my library has not had any new Lego books on the shelf for a while. So any new Lego books that I've kind of reviewed and thumbed through have been through my electronic library, where I order from different libraries and they ship it to my one that I go to. But there was this new one randomly on the shelf, which again, I haven't seen a new one in a couple of years, but they had the Minifigure Mayhem book. And this book isn't like the other books that I reviewed and kind of thumbed through. This one is a level 3 reader. And what that means is that this book is expected to be read by children who are just now reading by themselves. They do not need an adult to sit next to them. And so if you're looking for a book to kind of encourage your kids to read, I really like this book. Now, you might not want to buy it, but I definitely recommend checking it out from your library. And so we're going to open it up, and when we open it up, you see it's a lot of the CMF figures that we've seen over the years. And here's the table of contents, and if you'll notice right now, there's basically one minifigure for every 2 pages. So page 6 is the Wacky Witch, then we go to page 8 and we get the Zombie Businessman. And so technically it's like one minifigure per page. But we're going to open it up here, and we've got out of this world characters. So this is your monsters, your aliens, and your fantasy characters in this chapter. And there's some leeway with that. And there is a lot of the Series 14 monsters in here. And now, even though this is all about kind of the CMF series, this isn't like a collector book like, oh, this is the first time we've seen a black cat, or oh, this is the first wizard to come with a blue gemstone. Instead, it kind of talks more about like the characters themselves and the bio. So it's like likes, spider socks, dislikes, getting broomsticks. So these are things that you would have found on the Lego website's bio page, and not necessarily like facts about the collectibleness of the figure. And although the 2 pages are dedicated to the Wacky Witch, you're going to see a little thing down here with like the magician. And kind of like it's another way to add another character, but it's not really dedicated to him. And there's lots of fun or terrible jokes, depending on how you want it. Like, what is the wizard's favorite school lesson? Spelling. Yes. Gems like that are throughout this book. And again, for a beginner reader, I think they're going to love that wordplay. And we have the Zombie Businessman. Again, you see first 2 pages, and we've already got 3 Series 14 CMFs. We've got the elf here and the elf maiden to kind of go with that. There's just a small little thing here with the fawn. And now it says things like this. The fawn fills his forest home with music. His favorite instrument is a flute. The odd creature has the body of a man, but the legs and horns of a goat. Now, I'm going to mention that near the beginning, but so the legs and horns of a goat. Just remember that. So as we thumb through here, we're getting Squarefoot, another Series 14, and a fun little Medusa fact with a really bad joke. And then we have some challenges in here. So it's not just about the minifigures, but some games you can play with your minifigures. And here this game is called Stacking Your Minifigure, and they talk about having like a smaller base makes it more difficult, larger base makes it easier, some tricks to how to do it. So games you can play as well. And then we're going to continue on here, and we're moving away from like the monsters and the fantasy to more science fiction with robots and space, aliens, and then back to monsters. And again, heavy in the Series 14 for this first section. And we got the monster scientist and the plant monster. And then we move into busy minifigures, and this is where we see occupations, jobs, and lots of hobbies. And I'll kind of mention that interesting how I think they take some liberties with this. So we go here, we've got the astronauts, and of course tied to an astronaut, you've got a scientist. We've got our wildlife photographer, and I actually thought this is interesting. Favorite animals, sloths. They are good at staying still, yet she came with a penguin piece. I thought it was kind of a fun little bio fact, even though she came with that. We got the veterinarian, we got the cop, and then a small jewel thief. And then a challenge is like, guess who the minifigure is by putting him in a mystery box, and how to make it harder, more difficult. So that's the game we play. And then we've got the roller derby girl and the hiker kind of going in with the hobby section of this jobs and hobby. And here we go, we've got the surfer, but then they threw in the shark costume guy, or shark guy here. And again, we have our bad joke here. Why did the shark cross the ocean? To get to the other tide. Yeah, some are worse than others, but still fun. And then some things out of fish out of water. But I thought it was interesting that they put the shark costume in the job and occupation section of the book. And we got the wrestler and the kickboxer, so we kind of got sports. and Party Time. And this is where I thought the shark would go, because this is like more your costume characters that really are just kind of whimsical and kind of fun. And then of course you have to have Hot Dog Guy, since that's our first costumed minifigure ever. But again, it doesn't deal with that fact that this is the first costume minifigure. It just goes into the bio about him and what he likes, what he does, his favorite thing at the party. Then we've got the party girl here, the birthday party girl. I thought that was interesting, but she came with the party boy, but instead of doing the party boy over here, they did the clown from the Clowning Around section. These were all from the same series, the series 19 kind of anniversary series. We got the Disco Divas. I always love this character. That was so hilarious. Birthday cake guy, the cake guy with a baker. And then challenges is just mixing up the heads, the torsos, and accessories. So not really making a, you know, a custom minifigure mock, but just kind of making silly minifigures that are just your own creative designs and ideas. And we go to Cactus Girl with the Flower Pot Girl. And then Race Car Guy and the cowboy with the little cowboy costume and the horse. And we've got both the unicorns, because there's been 2 unicorns in the CMF series. So I like the fact they kind of cram both these unicorns in here so you can see the difference in coloring, but the same shape. And we've got the little fairy girl and how she loves bugs. And then, remember earlier we talked about the fawn? At the end, again, this is about kids learning to read. So there's a little quiz here to see if they were retaining what they were reading. Question 1. The fawn has the legs like which animal? So the fawn has legs like which animal? And we remember from the beginning of this video, the goat. But there's 10 little quizzes just to make sure the kids are actually comprehending what they read. So I like that. Again, I wouldn't buy this book, but I think it's definitely worth checking out from the library. And then there's some glossary for things, these words they might know, like, yes, we know Antarctica, but until kids start studying geography, that's going to be a difficult place to know about. Or conquer, like, what does conquer really mean? So some of the larger words do get a glossary, and then we've got our index here. And this is where you're going to see more of the, the smaller characters, where there's really only 1 per page, but in reality, there's like 2 or 3 minifigures on each section. And then there's the end, and of course we do have the answers. So this book was really good. It's a good find. Adults, don't worry about it, but if you have a kid who's starting to learn to read, likes Legos, this might be a nice thing to check out from the library. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, or check out some of our other videos. Until next time, let's keep building together.